Creative Jam. I'm your host, Jack. With me today,
Simon.
And Matt.
Ooh.
Not as quick as we've done it before, but I'll have it.
I feel like that kind of sums up how I'm feeling today. Just not quite as quick. Not quite as on the ball.
So yeah, this
Slower
is an agony
reactions.
uncle episode.
Yeah. Just, I might react by next week.
You have notoriously got very slow reactions. We've
That is true.
We have pointed this out a few times in the past.
Yeah, this is true. Watch me try and catch a ball. And,
Well, we tried to do the old clapperboard over Zoom, and it was horrific.
It was, but that's internet speeds
yeah,
now.
that's internet's the.
That old chestnut. That old chestnut.
Yeah, you two were sharing a room, and you couldn't even get it in sync. So
True.
We were a few glasses of red wine down. So.
Yep, as per usual. Today we've
and an
got
extra
what
large
today?
pizza.
Oh yeah, I'm still digesting
No,
that
get that
as we
right.
speak.
Extra large.
Don't call me out here. Come on.
Yeah, I think as well.
I thought we were friends. So today we're recording video for the first time.
Hello.
Live on air.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
All of our
So,
disheveled faces.
it's we're looking at the computer and we're looking at Matt. So it reminds me of like sports broadcasting where I don't know whether I think I pointed this out to you with some of the UFC broadcasting where when they speak to like a pundit or whatever, the pundit looks to the host, we're so normalized by that. But I remember we were watching UFC on BT, I think it was.
Yeah, there was
and the pundits then turn to the camera and look straight down the lens, and it was so weird.
It's like the mix between in the studio kind of football days, and then you go to like Soccer Saturday, and it's like Cammy,
Well, you're so used to the host looking at the camera, but no one else.
I don't know why that is. It's probably because obviously they can't actually but they can't go and interview people in the ring anymore. Can't because
Right,
of COVID.
yeah.
That's why they do it, obviously. And usually they'd be like facing the actual
No,
fighter.
but they've done it like with just the three of them, like in a studio as well. I've seen it like on NBC's coverage of football.
Oh, you mean like
they'll be speaking like this. Oh yes, I think blah blah, and then they'll just turn to the camera mid sentence and be like, and this is why they're playing bad and all that. And it's like, whoa, don't look at me, don't look into my soul.
This is why they're playing.
Yeah.
bad.
I feel like I should start talking on like a delay. So you should ask a question, and I should have to nod my head for about 3 minutes while I wait for the for the satellite delay to catch up, and then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is our first foray into video. So bear with us. We can dress the studio up more as we go along.
That's
But you were
cool.
going to say we could dress however you want.
I thought he was going to say that as well.
You know what?
Yeah, I thought you were going to start offering a new service.
Well, a certain day's come up in very, very soon on the 30th of this month, so we might do something
Halloween.
Halloween. Hey, we could do a Halloween special.
cool. We could do a Halloween special.
do a
Yes, let's
Halloween
definitely do a Halloween special.
Spooky special.
There we go.
I'm going to walk in Bollico. That's a sight that scares.
In your birthday suit.
Oh, yes.
So I wanted to give a catch up from last week. We left on a cliffhanger that I could have COVID.
Oh, yeah. I haven't even asked. Shows how much of a good friend we all are that none of us have jumped and asked.
I don't need to. I'm there because if he's got it, I've got it, so.
Well, I don't.
Yeah.
No.
The test
Shock
was negative, and I'm fine. So I'm plowing on.
Lovely.
Well, since then, we've got like about 5 notifications from the app, so yeah.
Yeah, like
Oh, really?
the apps tell me I'm positive every single day, basically.
Yeah.
My app still hasn't bleeped yet, but
Yeah, but you're on the sticks though, aren't you?
it's because of I'm more so worried because of this shit show where the cases haven't been counted,
Oh, fuck.
and that means that they've had a backlog of like 20,000 extra cases from this past month when it looked like things were getting better.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So
Oh well.
I'm waiting for my bleep any day now to say
That's alright. Well, we're all alive and
get
kicking,
tested.
so.
We
Jack hasn't
we're all here.
got the COVID, so jobs are good.
Okay. Oh, he's coughing.
He is.
It's a terrible time to cough.
That's just the extra large pizza coming back up.
Best be.
Okay, right.
So I thought today we could try and stay on a topic for once, because we can never do it.
No, so they're going west already.
Yeah,
Boys
well,
about
that's it. We just spent
COVID,
the
Sky
first 10
Sports.
minutes talking about,
Yeah.
I don't know, pizzas and COVID.
Yeah.
So here's one for you. Copycat products, copycat copyrights, that old chestnut.
Yeah.
We had some fun in our WhatsApp group, sending some products that I think the main culprit here is Aldi.
Yeah.
Aldi and Lidl. Yeah.
You see products out there. Okay, the listener can relate. You walk into a supermarket and there's a product and it's basically the exact same as a well-known product like Cocoa Pops or like a shampoo or whatever, but it's not. It's like the design is exactly the same.
Well, this is it. Why is that? Like, how can you not have some form of IP on this, for some of the brands? And you're like, it's not just like copying similar name, it's a copying similar brand and everything, which really bewilders me how they can get away with it.
So I did some researching.
Oh.
Ooh.
And
you got some science, hard data.
Well, I was kind of looking up and like that was my question. Like, why are they doing it? Who are doing it? It's basically the supermarket's brand, so they are doing it.
Yeah, well, they design their own things. Essentially, Aldi's all its own products. They make their own products, right? Or is it a case? Well, it's got to be. I
think so. Yeah. So there was a brand maybe in Australia or New Zealand, like hair oil, I think it was, who took Aldi to court. They were called like it's not this, but it was something like Macula oil or something, and Aldi had one that's called like Mercy oil. I don't know, but they took them to court and Aldi got away scot-free, I think.
There must be a reason why. I mean, you think back to when I said about that, was it on the podcast about the gin bottle went to Portobello Road, and Portobello Road gin has the tiny crest of the lion, and they changed that. I think it's like something like 10%. You got to change 10% of something to make it your own, which is crazy low. So that's probably what it is.
So I read somewhere that they intentionally do it because they want shoppers to think of the original brand. But then they're going to go for the cheaper option. Yeah. So they will buy it. So it's better to make something
it's obviously
look
led
like
with emotion,
something.
isn't it? So they kind of think, oh, that looks like Dove. I usually buy Dove, but this is like half the price. But it looks like it, so...
I think as well, like, imagine if they changed the colours on the boxes completely. Like, imagine you were going in for, say, Rice Krispies that are always in that light blue box, and all of a sudden they're in something really out there, and you're just like you're just going to be looking, as weird as it sounds, and it makes us sound like we're all a bunch of complete idiots. If it's not in that bright blue box, we're going to be spending ages looking for it.
I know what you mean, yeah, but that's like any brand though, isn't it? I mean, you go to buy a bog roll, there's loads of the same thing but different packaging. Probably best example is probably a cereal, something like that. A Cocoa Puff would be Cocoa Pop, sorry, not Cocoa Puff, 2 in 1. But Sugar Puffs, Cocoa Pops, that kind of thing, they all look the same in form, but the branding's different. You know what I mean? Same as Asda, do the same with smart price things, not to the same extent because the brand's different, but it's the same product essentially. But if you look at the alcohol and where is it, Aldi? Look at the alcohol, then that's kind of its own thing. And you know what's funny, because they have some really beautiful bottles, like they actually almost like brand that as like obviously all whiskey for example has a similar look and feel, and they'll stick to that, but it's still really nicely packaged. It's not cheap. It's got foil and emboss and deboss and you name it.
They're Scotch in the little tubs that they do, that is kind of similar to what you get in a lot of the Scotch brands. But it does look really quite nice and refined. Like someone was asking, someone stopped us to ask if I drink whiskey because they wanted to recommend which one to get.
Oh really?
Yeah. Apparently, I just look like a raging alcoholic.
I did always used to go for their take on Disaronno.
You know what? That was not bad, is it?
Like a few pounds less. But check out in the WhatsApp. I've just sent over a few examples. Some of them are hilarious. We've got like a Lacoste with an alternative
We'll add
called
these to whatever channel.
Yeah.
Lacosta.
Lacosta. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. It's like a dinosaur rather than a crocodile.
One of the biggest offenders for me is evaporated milk. I mean, of all the things to think of, I don't think. Well, you see there, Nestle is like branded evaporated milk. Yeah. But if you went to someone, what's a brand of evaporated milk? I wouldn't have a clue. So you don't even have to copy it. But
cream.
To me, that's just. It's not even about brand there. It's like, it's just like the psychology of getting that red and white tin.
Yeah, to be fair, if I was looking for evaporated milk, the one on the left, the Nestle thing, is what I'd be looking for.
Yeah.
So if I was completely out of sorts, I'd expect Catcot. I've just scrolled down a little further to Catcot.
Yeah.
Have a break. Have a Catcot. That, to be fair, stealing the slogan is. The
design is bang on there.
Are these legit things that you can buy them in Aldi?
They're legit, yeah. Cheese Puff's exactly the same brand as What's It.
Yeah.
Frosties, the breakfast doesn't add on because he goes as far as the copying the character as well. So Frosties,
they have
got
a slightly
frosted
different
flakes,
mascot.
and it's
I know, as they do a lot of the characters for their cereals, and they're slightly
Rice Krispies. You've got crisp rice, and it's like an elf still. I think that's an elf.
A bit more of a Christmassy looking elf as opposed to Snapcrackle.
The top one, the amount of Cocoa Pop rip-offs that are with monkeys with that colour scheme.
Again, it's, make the brand look the same.
I don't get the one that's just a square with a monkey on it. Doesn't even say what.
I'm not too sure why that's there, but I don't know. In the show notes, I'll send some links. So if you go on the podcast on Apple or Spotify, you'll be able to look at what we're looking at. But yeah, it's crazy. I get the psychology behind it, but it's like, how the hell can they get away with it?
The Lacoste ones reminded me of every vodka bottle that I've seen, which is just a clear bottle with a red logo on, so akin to Smirnoff. Akin to Smirnoff, and everywhere has its own kind of own clear bottle with a red label on. I
found out how Aldi got away with it in the courts. And it was because they claimed that consumers aren't confused with the two.
Right.
So the courts have ruled out that consumers are not confused between the brand and the copycat. They are not misled into thinking that they are made by the same company, and they do not generally buy the copycat whilst mistaking it for the other. But I also found that there was a Which survey, which found out in their survey that 20% of consumers were buying that product by mistake, the copycat, when they were intending to buy.
That's a bit ridiculous though, because you go into Aldi, you can't find the same brand, like popular brands if you like.
Yeah.
So you've got to be a bit.
You are kind of
silly.
But I guess that how kind of works in Aldi's defence sometimes, is that you're not under the illusion that you're buying.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Cocoa Pops, because Cocoa Pops don't exist here.
Exactly. And don't forget as well, a brand is not necessarily the colour scheme. You know what I mean? That's the identity of the the product. But a brand is much more than that. Again, Nestle in itself is the brand. Coca-Cola is the brand.
Yeah.
You can make it look as similar as you want. People probably try it time and time again, but it makes no difference. You still go to them really popular ones.
Yeah. So as I was doing my deep dive, I found some funny things that I thought I'd share with you. So these are like the the epic fails in supermarkets as well. So there's a Kellogg's 2 Scoops Raisin Bran, and on the box it has it basically says that there's 2 scoops of raisins and lots in it. Someone's taken all the raisins out and seen that it's half of one scoop.
It's only that's not on if you're gonna claim you've got 2 scoops of raisins.
And that's Kellogg's as well. Poor form.
Yeah.
There's a Panda Pop which looks nothing like a panda.
That reminds me of really sad. I'm sure they used to do like a Mickey Mouse lolly, because it looks like a kind of like a Mickey Mouse hat on top of just a blob of
100% juice, but then beneath it says contains 27% juice.
Amazing. Stunning.
Is it a gluten-free chocolate chip cookie? This product contains gluten.
Yeah, not really selling that one, are they?
The prawn one's a bit mad, where like the label's hiding the fact that they've been chopped in half already.
So it looks like they're really long.
Grim that in it.
That's shocking.
The ravioli that's got one piece of ravioli in it, and I don't know what that is a can of, but it says it's made in America.
Arizona. It's Arizona iced tea, yeah. And
product of Canada.
Product of Canada. So it's an American company who have moved to Canada to do it.
Yeah.
It's probably cheaper.
That's
I mean, what does it say? What's the lesson you've learned here then? Graphic designers lie to your face on a daily basis.
I think people, like, they just don't give a fuck, basically, do they? Like,
well, it's,
supermarkets don't.
No. Well, most of them don't at all, though, do they, really? You know, a lot of things that you sold the dream on, don't you, really? You know.
So I think there was one on there with the Copycat ones where there was a game, and it...
the poop game.
That's the one that... Well, first off, I've never heard of this game anyway. But dodging the doo-doo and then don't step in it, they're pretty much exactly the same. And
two very highbrow games.
Yeah, but you can see below that is a bit of a kick-off, like there needs to be a code of conduct. So toy and game designers, you know, they're more offended, I guess, because they spend it like... Well, not that people who make food and that don't spend time on it, but like...
product design, isn't
it's
it?
like IP, isn't it? Like
testing.
Yeah, so
recipes.
They feel more like attacked.
Yeah.
Which I can get behind.
Well, like, imagine Lego, how many copycats that there's going to be.
Yeah.
There's lots of Lego copycats. But I imagine for smaller things as well, I imagine that's what makes it impossible to actually build a brand. I mean, if you look at, remember when fidget spinners were such a big craze?
Yeah.
It's not like there was a fidget spinner brand that took over the world. It was... Everyone could do it. I think Yo-Yo originally started as a brand, and then there must have been something with the intellectual property, but it meant that all of a sudden everyone can produce a yo-yo.
That's weird, isn't it? They mustn't have copyrighted or something. It's like you know, everyone refers to a vacuum cleaner as a Hoover. Hoover's a brand, not necessarily a vacuum cleaner. I mean, that might not be everyone, but that's why you call it all the time, a Hoover.
James Dyson's ethos when he set up Dyson was that he wanted it so that by the time he's finished, people would refer to it as doing the Dysoning. Which
sounds
terrible.
He's still got a long way to go with that.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. No, it's not happening.
But I think that is when a product is won, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
sure,
Polaroid is a company. JCB is a company.
So what does that make you? Does that make you like, you know, pioneers of a certain product? So if you make something that's so unique, it will basically your name will get attached to it. You're the first to do it. Is that the case?
You could argue that there wasn't much competition at the beginning for those.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It was easier.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You can still make unique things.
Coca-Cola.
Kind of. It's a rare thing though, because
similar.
It's one of the things they always point out in Dragon's Den, because when a small company tries to do something that a bigger company can then do, it's going to become an issue. Like, you look at...
That's why they're always like, have you patented it? Because like, they're just going to do it.
To build up that brand before then someone else can do it and do it just as well or better or cheaper becomes a big issue. I mean, you look at how the one success story I can think of that is Under Armour, who still exist despite the fact that now every sportswear company offers
they're first to do
own.
the kind of thermal vest thing, like Jack's got right now. Are you wearing one?
No, this is like a Primark version.
Oh,
it's not.
Not
exactly the point.
That's what it. Yeah.
No, but this is like cloth. Yeah. This is like
it's like a thermal vest, long sleeve.
It's not a vest. It's like a shirt.
Yeah,
like
it's thermal.
It's not. No.
Oh,
no. That's just like cotton.
Okay, fine.
It's all cotton.
But yeah, I've got like Nike, like thermal vest and that.
Compression.
But funnily enough, I stopped myself there because I would normally call it Under Armour, even if it was Nike. I'd say, Nike Under Armour.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like what it is, so doesn't it? It's Under Armour. It's like you know what you wear under a t-shirt or something.
Yeah.
So I think they nailed it in that respect. but especially even food products. I mean, if something enters the market with, because say like chocolate bars, Galaxy and Dairy Milk, Cadbury's. Like as soon as Cadbury's bought out the dark milk bar, Galaxy returned with their own darker milk bar. So
darker milk.
Kind of that.
What's darker milk?
It's like in between. It's like an adult's milk chocolate.
Oh, okay.
So it's like
so like yeah. So like dark chocolate, but milk chocolate added in, kind of thing.
Yeah. So that kind of competition element is a big thing.
Yeah.
I think that's when two bands compete, though, isn't it? Really, like there's probably a lot of that going on. Really, what's a good example?
It reminds me of Mac, Steve Jobs. He was kind of saying this, like people need to call the personal computer the Mac. Like they need to be saying, "I want the Mac," and then that started like the PC Mac war. And he was all about brand.
Remember that advert once where it was like, "I'm a Mac, I'm a PC." They were amazing. Then I really enjoyed them adverts.
Yeah, I remember those.
But and look at Macintosh versus PC now. Like Windows, there's probably a lot of argument for this. Really, you'd probably use a Windows set in different things, but for us, two creative people who work, in like graphic design and animation, that is our go-to. We want Macintoshes.
Yeah, I mean it's hard now because those companies have branched into loads of fields. In whether it's video games or music, whatever.
Purely
so
like computers.
It's hard to say that that's a war anymore because
and
like
it's not, I'm not saying it's a war. I'm just saying it's interesting that it's industry standard for us.
I don't think they focus that much on it themselves these days, but it's industry standard for us, but not for other industries.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's just interesting that it is for us. Like, why is that?
I remember there was a big PC push on one of their last laptops or something that they did kind of try and focus on. This is a PC for creatives, to try and kind of take that.
It's not the Surface, is it?
Share that.
The Microsoft Surface, is it? Where it's basically like a really big tablet. It's like an iPad Pro.
Yeah, it might have been.
But it's like a computer. It's a really big tablet.
I think that's the one.
Yeah. You know what? Like some creators don't use Macintosh. Some of them use PC because you can make more powerful ones for cheaper, which makes more sense, doesn't it? Really, like.
So, kind of bringing it back to the point of these copycat products, I couldn't help but see Brewdog's marketing that they were doing with Aldi. Yaldi. They were. I took like a big deep dive in like Brewdog and the marketing in general. I think you guys probably know a bit of it anyway.
For those who don't know, Jack, explain what Brewdog is.
Brewdog's a craft beer company hailing from Scotland.
Fucking love the Scots.
I would presume that most people know what Brewdog is, but
you'd hope so.
Maybe our listeners in France and America Southend don't know what Brewdog is. Thanks. We love our Southend listeners.
They must have Brewdog there, surely. Major cities only, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting, Brewdog, because I mean, when they started, how long have they been going for? Did you clock that?
2007, I think.
2007.
Yeah, but their first store was 10 years ago.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, can you remember when they actually started like becoming a bit of a thing in shops and stuff? Like, I don't remember having a pint of Brewdog
Not for a while.
when I was in university 5 years.
No.
5 years ago. 5 years ago. Exactly. So, you think about it that way.
But
it's weird. It's like the rise they've had, and now they're in supermarkets.
How quickly that expansion is. I told you, Jack, I sent you a message when I was in Brussels, and the founder of Brewdog was there, and I was in the Brewdog bar in Brussels.
Oh, really? He was there?
Yeah. And just to think that that's a little Scottish beer company that's now got bars and restaurants. Bars and restaurants because they do food.
So this is what I want to touch upon because this reflects in their marketing. So a nice way to segue into this is because they have been doing some marketing to explain the Aldi thing. Aldi have got a beer out as they were copying all these products as we've just spoken. Though. And they've got like a punk IPA kind of craft ale. The design is exactly the same as the Brewdog punk IPA. Yeah. And then I think it's James Watt, the co-owner of Brewdog. He tweeted back, or tweeted a article that was showing this, that a design from Brewdogs, which is like an Aldi IPA, making fun of it, making fun of them copying them. They called it Yaldi, and then Aldi got back to them and was like, well, we would have called it Aldi IPA, or Ald IPA, so it still said Aldi. And then they actually quickly redid the design, and then playfully sent it back to them and were like, oh, we'll send you a crate, whatever. And I thought that was, it's cool. It's always nice to see a company that's like, dare I say the word, banterous.
Well, this is it. No, it's right though. I mean, you think about it logically.
But I saw the other day that Brewdog went again and did a hoppy meal burger. So there was a post. I think it was James Watt again, because he likes to be the spokesperson of Brewdog, and he was making a point about the current COVID situation, and that people can still go to the counter to get food in Mackey's, and in his Brewdog stores you sit at the table, whatever, and you can enjoy a hoppy meal. And it was, just, I think it was just in the name and the design of where the branding of the name on the little box where the burger was coming out or whatever, or the bag. It was very similar to the Happy Meal, and everyone in like the comments section was like, "Oh, this is brilliant! This is brilliantly creative," and I want to ask, is it like, because this is like, it's like.
I think it's like clever and simplicity, to be honest.
But if they keep doing it, then you're just, it's
probably something for social.
You're just copying stuff. Like I don't think it's that original thinking. I think you're going against original thinking, but the thinking itself is not original anymore.
Okay, well, think about this way, right? So they rebranded their packaging stuff recently, and the cans as well. Thinking about it, Brewdog, they used to be all colourful, crazy. Because he started off this like rebelistic kind of, we're cool, we're different, we're this and that. Probably when craft beer was become more of a thing. But now craft beer is so normal, they've kind of then started... They've always got like an icon in a can. So think about McDonald's, right? So look at their bags. It's a brown paper bag with M on it. Just an M most of the time, isn't it?
Yep.
That is McDonald's, how you identify McDonald's. They've done the same thing with their packaging. It's purely white now with just the can on the front. Because everyone knows what a Brewdog can looks like now. So it's funny they got like that, which is interesting. But like when they think of McDonald's and stuff, the way they're kind of taking,
but then
the mick out of it.
This is a company that threatened legal action against a small independent pub in Birmingham called Lone Wolf, because they had Brewdog had a trademark of Lone Wolf, and another bar for using punk in its name. Like they threatened legal action against these local pubs. And
it's interesting.
If it's a crap product, then
they've
you're
had
not
a
going to
few
want to associate
accusations
it,
of like plagiarism. There's some stuff online about they got an agency in to design the punk as the Punk AF can, which is the alcohol-free one, and then they just went ahead and did the final design that you know of, and they were like, we didn't get paid for this, and you kind of stole our idea.
What, as in the agency who made the cans originally didn't get paid?
Yeah, so then they said that they came up with the design and that, and the the concept, the creative concept, and they just went ahead and like they ended their services and then went ahead and did the product, and then Brewdog replied and said, well, this is your concept and this is ours. They don't look the same,
but it's a similar kind of, even the whole like tone of voice and stuff.
There is a long-winded case of a woman who spent 5 months applying for a marketing role and offered loads of ideas while she was doing it. She was traveling and flying around to meet the owners and all that. She even sent a whole year marketing strategy for them to just ghost her at the end and not pay for her travel and that. There's claims of them doing like fake interviews, so basically interviewing people for like creative concepts and then just taking the ideas and not hiring them. So I just thought it was interesting that they recently have been doing like these copycat playful things, they can like threaten legal action on a small local pub because they've got punk in their name.
That's what happens when you get big, isn't it? You just don't
Yeah.
care anymore. You're like, well, I want to be the main guy. I don't care about anyone else.
It's strange, isn't it? Because they're big, but not bigger than Aldi. So
Here's an interesting.
It's that idea of it's okay to punch up.
Yes, yeah. It feels like
perfectly fine.
It feels like Brewdog is desperately trying to hold on to its disruptive challenger status, whilst also trying to become a mainstream global brand. And this is in response to they had an ad campaign a few years back, which I think again is unoriginal, where it's the whole this is an advert, then that's the advert. So like on the bus, it was like advert on a bus, and then the can of Brewdog.
Yeah. Well,
which is what like Oatly is doing right now.
Oatly, yeah.
And loads of people are giving Oatly plaudits. I have too. They do it in a more creative way, I would argue.
No, for sure. There's
they
more
don't
copy
simply
on it.
say that. Yeah, there's way more copy. There's more.
So imagine getting Apple and Oatly together. That's what that looks like. The Brewdog one. That's the thing. It's all white, isn't it? With just like a can in the middle. So what I mean, so they're starting to become McDonald's now, aren't they? In terms like our signature thing is these cans, mostly Punk IPA as well. Which I think that was the first when they started with the IPA, the Punk IPA. Was that the first can they made?
I think that's the main one.
Probably, yeah.
It's got the attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that, to be fair, with the whole accusations as well. It's a bit saddening, really.
So, and then just to kind of end this, there's a quote from him, in 2013, it says, "I'd rather take my money and set fire to it than spend on advertising. It's the antithesis of what we stand for and everything we believe in. It's shallow, fake, etc." And then, they're spending so much money in marketing now, and this article's from like a marketing website, whatever, and they say that they're basically not very punk anymore, and they still see themselves as the Sex Pistols of beer, when in reality they're about as punk as Green Day.
Yes,
because they are they're the best-selling craft beer in the UK now. And you thought it was interesting. You talked to me earlier how they've kind of rebranded themselves a little bit with this whole carbon negative thing.
Well,
do they still do the equity for punks?
Yeah, but it's really shit though. I don't think it's great.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we looked into that age ago that we have like what that actually meant, and it wasn't great. You don't get nothing for it really, unless you put a lot of money into it.
Yeah.
You don't actually get any money back. With the sustainability thing, it's funny because I feel as though sustainability is it's like a new buzzword, but I don't think people realise what actually goes into sustainability. Just because you're saying, carbon. Let me see the facts then, because I don't believe that for a second. You know what I mean?
So they're saying that they've built a forest basically, and it's going to produce double the amount of carbon they emit.
Okay, fine.
There is,
but
is that an act of greenwashing though?
Well, this is what I'm saying. You can do
explain
good things,
greenwashing to our listeners, Matt.
Greenwashing is claiming sustainability while not being able to really back it up, because a lot of the time people don't actually want the facts behind what you claim.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of clothing brands are now a lot more vocal about things being ethically sourced, and in terms of a multiple of things, there's labour laws, things like the Boohoo sweatshop camp that occurred in the UK, which is shocking really that's happened over here, but also sustainable materials, ethically sourcing those kind of things that's not going to cause harm. But a lot of companies, the actual you can just brand yourself sustainably without actually doing the sustainable work,
because no one's checking it.
Yeah, it's a hard thing for people to really fact check.
Yeah,
nobody's gonna travel to your suppliers. It's kind of a level of trust that the company puts on it, and some of the things that claim to be sustainable aren't.
Yeah.
A lot of products can claim to be cruelty free when that's a very, very hard thing to achieve. So the greenwashing is a real problem in terms of
Yeah, and it sells as well. I mean,
Well, I almost feel that
it does sell.
Brewdog is the world's first carbon negative beer. That's what they're saying now. So it's like that is a marketing thing as well. So it's very
greenwashing is an act
pessimistic
of
and thinking, but it is, and we all want them to do it, and we want all other companies to do it. But at the end of the day, you can't have this like savior complex or try to like change the narrative, because at the end of the day, you are using it as a marketing ploy.
Yeah, it's like the people who actually go around and film, themselves giving food to homeless people. Yeah, don't film it, just do it.
Well, here's the thing: you hear about there's that one decent celebrity that it comes out years after that they've given so much to charity and they never made it public.
Yeah,
and that's like kind of like how you would do it, right?
That's how you should do it, I think.
Unless you want to kind of lead the charge in your industry or of industries in doing so. So Brewdog would say, and other companies, we're doing this and we hope that the rest of the industry do this and blah blah blah. But they're not, are they? They're saying we're special because we're the ones that we're the only ones with this.
Look at us, we're green. These are all terrible people because they make bad clouds and ruin the ozone layer, which they probably do, but a lot of things do.
Another thing as well is that I was watching David Attenborough's Life on This Earth or something the other night.
Yeah.
And to say you're going to plant a forest is exceptionally hard because it's not just that he was showing the rainforest, and obviously we all know that about palm oil being such a big issue at the moment. And one of the reasons why palm oil is such a big issue is because it's replacing a massive variety of an ecosystem with a single type of tree. So if you're saying you're going to build a forest, you genuinely have to build a forest. It has to be diverse, because if you're just planting a load of palm trees, that's not gonna cut the mustard for actually helping the planet.
Yeah, and you're gonna need like tropical biologists involved and all this. Like
it's a very expensive thing to do unless it's happening in this country and you're using, indigenous trees. Then I just don't understand how.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I need to know more about that. Really, it's not just about using less paper.
Is it?
Unfortunately,
are they doing it directly, or are they working with a company? Are they just donating proceeds to a company that says they'll do this?
Yeah.
Is there someone else along the way that's also profiting on it?
So let me pose a question to you then. If you have your company and you, by the good of your heart, want to... Sorry, just kept my mic. With the good of your heart, you want to, lower your carbon footprint and you want to implement these changes. You have that as a business, a part of your business that you decide on that. But then you also have the marketing side of your business, which you work on, and you have to be clever with that.
Yeah.
How much do you blend the two together and use one against the other?
I feel as though if you've got something that's really worth shouting about sustainability, for example, a good brand to look at would be Allbirds. Allbirds are quite good because they use that as pretty much solely. So you'd be able to compare them two things together, really. It's all sustainable materials made with this. I mean, they've got like wool running shoes, so basically running shoes that are made out of wool. I'm sure the new ones are made out of tree bark, stuff like that. So what I'm saying, it's all like sourced locally in, I think it's New Zealand, but they built their whole brand off this.
They own it. Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, exactly.
Are they bamboo based?
Yeah, possibly.
Bamboo's been used for a lot of fibres at the minute. I've not seen the brand, but yeah,
it's pretty cool. Allbirds, look it up. It's awesome. Andy's got a pair. Christian's got a pair. So it's one of them really. It's just interesting to see. So what you're saying is with how much marketing they use, it depends. If I really, really thought, what we're doing is very good and very right, I'll use it quite a lot.
If your product hasn't relied on it before and it still doesn't affect the actual making of the product, so that is the product, and that's kind of like from day one. But you...
It's massively harder for someone like Coca-Cola to come out and say, hey, we're going to be...
Because they've got this history.
Big environment, because they've got the history, and you come to it with this level of cynicism of, are you really? But they will still use it in the marketing, but you as a consumer are left with that cynical nature. Whereas if it's a brand that is ingrained in from the get-go, look, we're going to be a sustainable brand.
It has more trust.
I think and you always have to put that at the forefront of it goes back to the kind of business, your business objective. You kind of always have to put it at the forefront of that. But if you're a big brand and your business objective is to please shareholders, then all of a sudden, how important is your sustainability? Or are you just trying to do as much of it as you need to not lose those customers?
Yeah. And I think this is an interesting topic that Oatly found themselves in recently. Because one of their shareholders, deforestation? I think one of their shareholders is actively involved in something that's not so great. But I think
is it a company that's involved in deforestation that he's involved with?
I'm not sure. It might be. But either way, Oatly had to come out.
I've lost life.
Okay, that's cool. We'll carry on with the Zoom audio and finish.
Hopefully that recording will survive.
Yeah. So like Oatly had to come out and say like, yes, we've agreed like this deal. We acknowledge the fact that, they've got their fingers in some dodgy pies. But
been there.
But if we want to continue the good work that we're doing, we need to accept these deals. And we think it's important that to make change, you have to be within the network, not outside of it. So for them to be involved in a company like Oatly, it's a start of change, basically, which I thought was a compelling argument.
Is that another idea that this person who is involved in these negative things is kind of seeking some kind of karma balance in terms of...
I don't mind that though so much. Like if you've done something bad, I think it's kind of good to kind of almost try your best to kind of set that straight. Look, I think it's one of them where I don't really mind so much if people are shouting about it. I can't really prove you really are doing it or not, but as long as they practice what they preach, I'm happy. You never know if they are or not, but I just hope people who say these things are actually really doing something good. Otherwise, you know, it's annoying, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's lies, and I don't like lies. I think a lot of marketing is revolved around lies. It's always bending the truth slightly.
Oh, yeah.
I don't agree with that.
Well, I think that's the kind of negative look at that's what marketing used to be, wasn't it?
Consumerism that is what it is, though, isn't it? There's lies.
And that's the ugly side of marketing, which when you mention you're involved in marketing.
Yeah, not always. I must admit,
exactly, but it's
a good example of good marketing, Paddy Power, because it's just hilarious. Like they just have a really good marketing team. Don't lie about nothing. Just take the mick all the time. It's funny, it's good.
Brutally true in a ambiguous industry.
Because like you say, talk about it's been done before, boring sustainability and stuff. It's always like if you're using it as a marketing ploy, being done lots and lots of times. Do something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think outside the box to get a better agency if they can only come up with stuff like that. Really.
Mm-hmm.
And
then to bring that back around, I hope it doesn't seem that like I'm absolutely shitting on Brewdog.
No.
I just thought it was an interesting argument. But that's something that they've done. They've been like trailblazers in interest in marketing. Sometimes it's gone right, sometimes it's gone wrong. And they've admitted when it's gone wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a few dodgy...
And I think in a way you've got to be sympathetic of a company that wants to grow but still stay... in that niche, because
it's your favorite brand.
Tough thing to do.
It's your favorite band that starts, implementing some pop into their new records because they have to
it's your favorite band that's suddenly on Radio 1 and you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know what? It's ultimately at the end of the day, they've got to make sales. That's what it is. They're making money.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't care.
Yeah. And ultimately, are they still going to be more ethical than a lot of the other beer companies that are out there?
Probably, mate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is it the lesser of evils?
Yeah.
Yes. No, you're exactly right.
So we're gonna go and drink some punk IPAs and
not on the vino tonight, unfortunately,
and cry that we've lost a sponsor for the show.
No, I didn't think about that. I take it all back. I'm sorry.
We take it all back.
I'm sorry.
The next episode.
If they send us a crate, we'll say whatever they want.
Yeah.
Oh, this punk ale tastes great. Wow. Anyway, I'm sorry, we'll get someone else. We get Love Lane. They're better.
Yeah. Ooh,
Shout out Love Lane.
Shout out Love Lane.
Ooh, Love Lane, not good.
Jam of the week.
So, Jam of the week, guys. What are we saying is Jam of the week? Who deserves our Jam of the week?
Aldi, I think. Just
Aldi?
because they've got a pair of stones.
Because they have the audacity
Yeah. Pure
to
audacity.
challenge these
To
products.
say this isn't what you want, but you're gonna buy it anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And to be fair as well, it's really hard to go to that shop unless you go to the till. So, you know, they've got
Yeah.
you
They
in
get
there.
you
You've got
there,
to buy
don't they?
something. You've got to buy something, and then
Yeah.
you just get thrown. You're not allowed to pack at the till, so you just get it thrown at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also forget, like, they made you pay for bags before paying for bags was a thing. So you
Yeah,
get to
they
the
did.
end and forget. You'd be
They
like,
were
where are the
wo-
bags? And they'd be like, oh, they're beneath you. You have to pay for them.
Yeah, they were well ahead of that.
Yeah. Those
Or you
little
get them
schemers.
boxes at the end. So you used to have, remember the little crate boxes you used to get, like cardboard boxes, put your stuff
Yeah.
in? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Aldi.
You're going
Great.
back now.
Yeah. I know.
Back in
But
our
Shows our
day.
age.
Back in our day, we didn't have carrier bags. We had boxes.
Yeah. Sustainable though. Yeah.
We had our
Aldi,
hands.
Aldi, Jam of the Week. Congratulations. Right, well, that's another podcast. That's another week.
In the bag. Well done. Thank you everyone.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for joining us.
Shout out to our listeners on Apple, on Spotify, on Outcast. That might be a service we're on.
Deezer.
Outcast.
The Geezer's on Deezer.
Yeah. Soon it'll be on YouTube as well. Will it be on YouTube?
Yeah, so hopefully we're recording video
Yeah.
now, so we'll be on YouTube.
Yes.
We're on iHeartRadio today, I think it
wow.
was.
Nice.
Nice.
And all our listeners out there, we've got a few in America. We hope Simon's strong Scouse accent is
Yeah.
audible.
It's not going to be. I'm sorry about that. I'll try and get better.
I don't know what Americans think Scousers are, to be honest.
I don't. Well, you know,
They
Till,
think they're
don't
the
they?
Beatles, don't they?
Yeah,
They
nah.
think they're the Beatles.
The Beatles
Yeah.
are very, very good though. They weren't as kind of, you know, Scouse. I guess Darren Till, you know, watch UFC, which most Americans probably do. They'll know who Darren Till is, so hopefully.
And Stephen Graham, he's in every film.
True, yeah, he is. But
Yeah, Stephen
true.
Graham, but
True,
not.
yeah.
He doesn't speak American in every.
True.
He doesn't speak American. Doesn't speak Scouse in every.
He's only played a
everything he
Scouser
does.
once in my head. It's worth for This Is England. Great
Yeah.
film.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like Public Enemies, Indiana Jones, stuff
Public
like
Enemies
that.
is a great
He's-
film.
Yeah, he's just.
Chicago?
I don't know if he's in
No,
Chicago.
Broadwalk Empire. He was in that.
No.
Sorry.
And he's not a
Boardwalk
Scouser.
Empire.
No. Oh, do you mean when he's been a Scouser?
Yeah, when he's been a Scouser.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in general films he's been.
We're
in.
not just listing his
Oh,
IMDb.
I'm trying to think of any American things he's played. Yeah, he's great though. I like Steve. He's awesome.
Future guest?
Yeah, for
He is from
sure.
Liverpool.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love him on. To be fair, it'd be
Yeah.
really interesting.
It's possible. Cool. Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Yes.
Take care.
Thank you. Thank
And
you
don't
all.
forget, any questions, any comments, email address is.
hello@3collective.co.uk.
He's got it.
Yes.
Said with such confidence.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Just glaring at Simon
We have
for
got
his
two.
approval.
Exactly. We have got two
This
of them.
this
so-
this whole podcasting is seamless.
Yeah, it's easy.
Really is.
It's easy.
You know, what grinds my gears though. Someone's muddied the email. Someone's muddied it with Buzz Sprout posts email. Sorry.
That's Buzzsprout, not me. You know, you want a podcast, then Buzzsprout are going to slide into your DMs.
Yeah, they are.
Shout out Buzzsprout
Yeah. Anyway, cool.
for hosting our podcast and making it so easy. Yeah, thanks guys, and we'll catch you
Thank
again
you,
next week.
folks.
Yeah, is right.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.